such an up and down team, right? You don't want that to be a tough game at the end.
Yeah, it's just been a very difficult stage to try and follow the trajectory of the Fusion. So the Spitfire, as you can see, a myriad of opportunities for them to increase their standings, especially, like they were said on the desk, avoiding the NYXL in that semi-final of the season. That's not something you want to go into at all. No,
and they did win 3 in a row, and then they lose that series to Dallas. I think we talked a lot about on Watchpoint.
Very quick series?
Yeah, very quick series, but how poor their adjustments were during that match. They really weren't any adjustments.
Oh, there weren't any. There was a refusal to adjust, perhaps.
So I think if they would have made some adjustments there, who knows how that series goes, although it was a pretty dominant Dallas win. I think if they come in here and they make some adjustments, I think they should be able to put up a very good fight against the Valiant team, who I think a lot of people, look, it's not like a sexy team, not a flashy team, right? Yep. I think a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, well, what are the Valiant? They're just really consistent. They have a lot of very talented players. There's nobody, I think, on this team, I think probably Space would be like that superstar player, right? But in the off-tank role, you don't make a lot of flashy plays, right? So you can't really even tell how great he is.
It's harder to see that talent manifest, I guess. Yeah. It's probably also in the way that we see the game, or we watch the game, or what we prioritize as viewers, spectators, and casters. However, there's a ton of incredible Diva players sort of at this level in this league. Now, the Spitfire have recently pruned off one of theirs. Fury now is that main flex tank player.
And I think flex tanks, you can obviously see their effect in terms of overall kill contribution, right? D.Va always putting down damage on a lot of different heroes.
Top eliminations.
Usually one of the top in eliminations. But I think it's more of the positioning and just awareness of when to go in with the other tank, when to protect your backline. Kick this thing off with London on defense. Pretty standard comp here from London. Interesting composition from the Valiant. Let's see how they, if they keep on with this. So you have Orisa Roadhog on offense.
Soon checks his corners. He actually checked quite diligently to make sure there wasn't anything there for him. He still walked into a trap.
This is interesting on offense. You're going to have a little bit more shield breaking abilities with a Roadhog here instead of a D.Va. You probably, if you are London, you did not expect an Orisa Roadhog offensive comp. London falls down from the high ground right away. Gesture gets hooked on in. He's very lucky to stay alive during that.
Soon now in position. The Valiant have that high ground. Spitfire pushed back with limited struggle to sort of retreat to the back of the point, and this is where the Valiant can really kick it up a gear. First they apply pressure by controlling the point, hook in. It's a fortify used by Gesture to be able to walk away from that one. And that remote mine thrown in, knocking Space off kilter somewhat. They do need those shields up here from Fate, but he's been knocked into the air himself. That's put back down, and again, almost one tick here for the Valiant.
And with the Roadhog, Fury can't exactly go in. That's going to be a hook from Space onto Prophet, but you can't send Fury in on D.Va. It'll just get shunked down by the Roadhog. You're afraid to send anybody else in. It'll be a Riptire here from Agility, so it'll connect with Nuss. That's going to be the Junkrat in Mercy gone. This will be a fast point A take here from the Valiant. I really like this comp. There are a lot of times where we joked when Coco, we saw him on like Anubis running the offensive Orisa, but this time it ends up working out here on Blizzard World when you have that Roadhog into play. It looks like they'll switch off of it for the second stage though. It's a good attempt to get players off of that high ground, right? With a halt and hook combination, they get a hook onto Prophet. They get rid of him quick.
That's very clean from the Valiant there. None of them died. They only had to kill 3 of the Spitfire actually to take control of the point. Playing conservatively, playing safe, and taking position. This big Prophet's Riptire in now, Soon's in trouble.
You can res this though. It'll be Custa getting over it with some help from Space. He'll get rezzed on up. Agility switches over to Brigitte, but what that Roadhog does is, like I was saying, Fury can't get onto the point as D.Va. Also, you don't need to pocket the Roadhog on the point with heals because he can just heal himself, right? So you're able to put all that resources into Fate. To be Valkyrie here, used by Nuss.
Just has to get completely out. He has to completely abscond from this fight.
And the Valiant can't do anything, the Spitfire can't do anything behind this Valkyrie. The Valiant just kind of back on out. So the Valkyrie will run up now.
I feel like it was used defensively to try and keep their main tank alive. Gesture got battered and bruised around on the point and had to actually use a jump to get out. Now this might relieve some pressure. Self-destruct thrown in with Fate going down. Custom around the corner can get the resurrect here. I don't think that was interrupted. No, he's brought him back. Soon might have to leave the fight for the time being, but now another supporter's been drawn out of the London Spitfire.
The Valiant do use their rally. They'll use Transcendence as well. This will be another Riptire from Prophet. Connect with Soon yet again.
You expect to see that happen. Soon gets the kill. Prophet knew he was close by, so they trade out 1 for 1. The Riptire was used crucially. Not the most impactful sort of play in a kind of fight where your tank's a very important Gesture. Now wants to take center stage. He gets stunned up briefly. Look at how chunked down he gets with that Discord Orb applied to him. Even a big body like his, fragile to the Zenyatta focus.
Exactly. Custa will have Valkyrie. Same with Nuss, though. Nuss is going to use his already to just keep everybody topped up. Be a self-destruct from space. There goes Gesture, though. He dies early. Nobody's going to be able to contest this, Mitch. It's going to be the Valiant who take point B.
Gesture got completely clobbered, Matt. As soon as he drops down to the point, he is once again discorded. Agility stuns him up, and he is burst down in a matter of seconds. I mean, it's a brave new world out there for the Spitfire when Brigitte is so prolific. But they need to be able to play around it, and they have been dashed aside multiple times. Gesture struggling to make any impact whatsoever. No final blows, 2 deaths for him. A very small amount of damage and only 1 elimination.
What's quite odd is, like, the Widowmakers really haven't made a big impact on either side. I know Bird Ring, 2 limbs, 1 final blow.
Cast the curse work 2 ways, man! Just as he's
there, the headshot onto Bird Ring and then takes out Nuss. So, yeah, no, the caster curse. Up until that point, I mean, there was, what, like, 2 final blows combined.
We're going to get Noah Winston on the phone. He's like, hey, look, I know you've memed on us a lot, and I asked you to stop memeing on us. Can you meme on us some more and get that reverse caster curse going?
Yeah. Sure, that's what everybody wants, the reverse caster curse.
Well, I mean, we saw it there. Widowmakers now having perhaps a bit more of an impact around this part of the map. Bird Ring and Soon will be, again, vying for supremacy a lot in the periphery. We won't see them in the main fight so much. That self-destruct, Kareem was a little bit too far forward of the shield. I think that was maybe even a stun on him there. He just couldn't get back to safety, and Fury just disintegrates there as London now finally start to find their feet. Bird Ring. Oh! Long range trade out with the Widow's Kiss. Bird Ring finding a little bit more purchase.
He will have a rally here. Prophet switches to Brigitte, one of the best Brigittes in the league. You know, you look at some of the stats, ranks amongst the top in all categories.
I mean, that man has had to play so many different heroes recently.
And how many has he been at? Like, not really any of them, right?
Can't really think of any. Zaya has also been fantastic on another note. So self-destruct in creates a little bit of space, and the Valiant might want to take the fight inside.
Gesture off, yeah.
Off towards the left-hand side. I'm sure, you know, Prophet's used to getting flipped off. Fate being pushed back now. Charging in the spawn just for the healing. The Spitfire are finding a lot more aggression now. Prophet more than happy just to get out.
Fate goes back into the spawn. I was wondering. Now you'll stay on the Reinhardt here. It seems like since the game has slowed down with the Reinhardt comps, they just have not been able to create a ton of space. London's done a nice job being the aggressors. This will be a Transcendence coming in from Bidoshin. The Shatter did come down from Fate.
Oh, Fate! He didn't have a shield up. He was jockeying back at the time. Maybe he wasn't ready for the knockdown, but now they're going to get aggressive and go forward again. And again, it's Agility's at the 4. Chance doesn't quite connect for Fate, but they'll be able to follow up into Bezosin. There's no way he's going to get out of that corner. Nuss lucky to be alive for the time being, but he is very low. Just trying to keep Fury tethered in place. Nuss is down to the shield bash. Agility's causing a lot of issues now for London. Yeah, and it was a really nice play from Space to get back to his supports, because Prophet, using the rally, actually gets into the back, gets Custa really weak, but just gets booped to the side by Space. That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier with those off tanks. Oh! Can't exactly see their effect. That'll be a knockdown there from Fate on a Gesture. The payload goes all the way to the end. That timing was excellent from Fate. Gesture had his shield up, but his feet weren't on the ground. He'd actually just sort of jumped off that little ledge to try and get in front of his team, and the timing was perfect from Fate. Straight under his feet, knocked down, finished off, and the payload gets home.
Space finishes that first round without a death. The Valiant supports combined for only 1 death. We can take a look at the Fate Shatter yet again, but some fantastic play from the off-tank inbo supports here for the Valiant.
Okay, we see from Gesture's perspective. This is good. So he's jumping off the stairs. Oh, no. Oh, that's so rough. Both tanks as well knocked aside. No one could get to the point.
Such a sick play there.
You have to wonder as well if, you know, for Fate, it was just an opportunistic attempt there to bring that Earth Shatter down.
So Fate finishes the first half. I mean, we want to talk about differences you know, between tanks. I was talking about the off tanks there for a little bit. I know Fate, I know only 2 deaths there, 6 for Gesture, no final blows for Gesture in that first half. So I think London is still trying to, from a tank perspective, like figure out, you know, what they want to play in certain situations, and I think they're still trying to get everybody on the same page here. So still a little bit of an adjustment here into stage 4.
Yeah, we do have a pause right now, just a minor tech issue, if I'm not mistaken, on the green and gold side of the stage. I mean, both Brigittes, they're having quite a big impact in general, Matt. You saw Agility's, you know, a lot of aggressive play forward, a lot of charging. I think that, you know, synergizes quite well with the way that Fate likes to play the game, but Gesture, he struggled that round. I mean, no final blows, which is not necessarily a problem for a tank player, but 6 deaths. He's got the most deaths out of, you know, I think 16 deaths over London Spitfire.
The most on his team.
6 of those were from gestures.
Yeah, I mean, the most on his team. I mean, you look at you know, where this game is kind of decided. It's with the supports staying alive for the Valiant and the main tank as well, and then the deaths that come from the supports on the side of the London Spitfire and their main tank. Like I mentioned, Jester finishes with 6, 3 each for Bidoshin and Nuss, 12 compared to, what, 4 the side of the Valiant.
And we're talking about the picks here. Let's have a look at London's hero usage in stage 4. Matt, this is actually something that we kind of talked about on our Watchpoint show, if you do sort of get to see that on Monday nights. This is the Spitfire sort of usage compared to the league uses in general. So the highlighted ones are the ones that are significantly different. Now, the Reinhardt and Zarya play far less than the rest of the league. You'll also note that they play a lot more Genji in general. But so Gesture definitely preferring not to play that Reinhardt when he can. And we do not see much
Zarya. Zarya with it. So they don't even play the Zarya with the Rein, which is good on a few maps here, especially when other teams are running Junkrat a lot. I mean, their main comp, they love to run like this Winston D.Va, and even with the Brigitte there at times, it seems to be their go-to. So.
I mean, this might not be a huge surprise to a lot of you guys, maybe sort of who know the Spitfire quite well, because they were always a team that liked to play the dive composition, right? They love the Genji Tracer, Winston, get in there, get in your face, belt heads in, and win games. The game's changed a little bit since then, as you can imagine. Those now just starting to come to terms with the impact that Brigitte especially has on teams who want to play that dive aggressive, the dive forward kind of style. You could see constantly over the course of this round, especially from an aerial cam, is Gesture trying to dive in, either getting whip shot out of the air or just shield bashed on the ground and then being forced to jump out. Use that jump he would have otherwise used aggressively to get back to his backline and get the healing from Mercy.
But I think what we see from London is that they don't, when they do play Zarya, it's Prophet who plays Zarya, and they don't play a Brigitte, so they play like a triple tank. And then if they don't play that, I mean, you like can just play.
Who's going to play Brigitte? Is it going to be what? Nuss? No, probably Mercy. Bidoshin? Probably not.
I mean, it would make sense if Fury played a little bit of Brigitte, right? Then you could have Prophet play Zarya, right? If you want to work with them that way. But if you're a team that's going against London, and you know that's going to be their setup, if they're going to run like Winston D.Va and then the Brigitte, or they're going to play the Rein without a Zarya and a Brigitte, you can just play really spam-heavy comps. You can play stuff like Roadhog and Junkrat and just burst down the shields of Gesture, and then he's standing there just doing nothing, and then he has to back up, then the Brigitte has to back up. You're not getting much Inspire time because she can't get in there and do damage, she can't hit anything, so you can play around that in a way. And if they don't want to switch off of it, you can just keep doing it. So we'll see what they decide to do on offense here. London is. It looks like a pretty standard composition here from the Valiant on D. The Valiant finished with 1:42 in the time bank, so pretty fast time here on Blizzard World.
I mean, we're looking at a team now, the Valiant, who actually had a completely fine team composition and hero pool when it came to playing dive, right? They had agilities, they had Suze all playing their Tracer. Bunny is also on the bench, who's an excellent Tracer. But they adapted, they changed their style. You know, saw agilities that go towards more of those projectile-based heroes, the Pharah, which has always been prolific on the Junkrat, and soon now just locking down the Widowmaker role. These guys have adjusted and adapted, as the meta has.
This is something we have not seen. We haven't seen Birdring play the Zarya and Prophet play Brigitte. Like as I mentioned, when they usually play Brigitte...
Oh, they're going straight to the point, man.
Yeah, they're going to just run right past us, try and get to the point, so...
Okay, they have that. We see this composition quite often when teams want to play clumped together and in like a static scenarios, on the point, not really moving so much. They got a lot of healing available from Moira, who has a very low pick rate in GM at the moment. It's not super popular, high ranks. Soon had the high ground and was still able to find Prophet. That is still one tick for the London Spitfire, though. When Gesture's Fire Strike now going to make it a 5v4.
So Space playing the Brigitte here for the Valiant. They do lose their Junkrat, though, so it's a large source of the damage as Custom will revive soon, but man, Birdring so charged up here. They need to get him out of this fight.
Yeah, but he doesn't have his own shield for another 5 seconds, man. He got healed up. Nice repair pack from Prophet. Really impactful on towards Birdring, who is so charged. He's now a very high priority healing target for the rest of the Spitfire. They've almost got 3 ticks already.
It's such a sick switch off of the spawn, though, as Agilities comes back as Pharah now, so he should be able to put down a ton of damage from the sky. Gesture has a Earth Shatter Mission. He needs to push all the way out of position, and this should be the Valiant able to hold on.
That was very close, though. Great switch from the Valiant. They knew how to play around. It's now Biotic Grasp from Moira is still quite dangerous for Pharah, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a barrage coming in, and that's 2 for Agilities. If I'm not mistaken, Matt, that is 6 kills over the course of that fight after switching towards the Pharah. That's nutty.
The Pharah does a ton of work. Agility is putting down 30% of team damage right now, as this is Nuss flanking his Lucio.
I appreciate that.
Well, we've all been there as Widowmaker players in the past.
Not many of us have been there as Lucio players, though. That's maybe what's so notable about it.
But now with now everybody can kind of do the wall.
Oh man,
it's a little bit easier. It's a nice ult there from Fate. Locks all those plays. Agility is going to get another barrage really fast.
And who's going to stop him now? If he's been pocketed by Custer, bionic grasp from Bdoshin isn't going to be enough damage to really cause any concern. And he's almost has another barrage now. This is so filthy. Fate's supercharger is down. Gesture now going for the Earth Shatter. Most of the barrage being blocked. You can see from behind. It was a cone of silence put over the head of Agilities. Great response there by Fury, and the Spitfire now can take the point.
Yeah, the Spitfire had to use a rally at the beginning of that fight. Sound Barrier, Coalescence, and a Shatter to be able to take this. But they do hold on to that Graviton Surge. So you hold on to Grav, you hold on to Self-Destruct. What, do they switch off of this? Or do they just letting Agilities just put down damage from the sky? So Custa's gonna play Ana, so I really like this change. They'll play Ana with Brigitte here.
I haven't seen him play Ana in ages.
He played it in one of their recent matches. In the, I believe it was against New York, they ended up playing that.
I reiterate, I haven't seen him play it.
Yeah. So they have played this because they like playing against this composition because it's just a ton of AoE healing, right? One biotic nade can put a ruin to all of this. They lose Agilities early though. Now playing Ana, not a Mercy, you're not going to be able to get that res. They're going to have to back out.
Playing against this comp at a man disadvantage is almost impossible, man. Birdring, okay. Space eats that one up. He's more than happy to take the Graviton here. The Spitfire had already well and truly won that fight with a 2-man advantage, and he still opts to go for that. Interesting.
I mean, you could, I don't even know if he plays it, but you could even have Soon play Pharah in this type of situation. I mean, you're not really worried about any kind of damage, right? You can just sit up top, just...
They're going to get there pretty much before they can. The Shield Bash is going to keep them off the point here. They just get on there.
They're going to fight it.
Sneaking the Kariv. Now going to be trying to use that Transcendence in this fight. Fate's knocked away though with Self-Destruct. That's pretty nasty. Birdring is slept here by Custer. And that Earth Shatter mostly blocked, but Agilities is affected by it now. Prophet wants to forge ahead. Kariv takes a big step back. And it's going to be Space and Agilities trying to hold down the fort here. In all fairness, they're looking pretty healthy, and the Fate actually has a nano boost here. The Valiant actually have the durability to hold on for now.
It was a big Earth Shatter from Fate. He got 3 or 4 players during that. It's going to be a Sound Barrier here from Nuss and a rally. So London really wants to fight this. It's going to be a nice pin from Fate onto Prophet. Prophet uses the rally. Maybe London realizes it's time to switch off of this.
Do not get on payload.
Changing some of their
what do you switch to this then?
Well, I mean, so you have Brigitte on the other side. You have D.Va in the Rhine. You may want, I mean, Birdring could play, you could just have Birdring switch off of Zarya and play Widow here. Because who's really charging up the Zarya right now? I know it happened earlier when there was a Pharah for Agilities, but right now you just need Gesture to kind of go in, just start taking tons of damage from Agilities, so Fate to get any type of charge. So I think you could have a Widow on the side of London if you wanted to right now.
Soon has good control of this high ground, and the Spitfire really Nuss that can again try and boop him off. Yeah, to be committing Fury to the situation, at least just to try and put a cork in Soon. So sit back now with the Coalescence. This is where we get aggressive behind us. But oh, that is a massive Earth Shatter! Bio Grenade to follow it up as well. Nuss and Gesture knocked out, but it's still going to be a Graviton Surge committed. Space's Self-Destruct though catches Nuss. He was unaware, or perhaps he was just trying to follow up on the grab. Beautiful Shatter. Great follow-up with the Bio Nade. And the Valiant hold on once more. 1 minute left for the Spitfire.
Oh, I mean, 6 Earth Shatter kills during this game for Fate. That's double the amount of Gesture. That's another huge Shatter. Back-to-back fights there from Fate. The payload is so close to completing it. So London will stay on this comp again, Mitch. It's Birdring sitting about 31 average energy. A lot of that came on point A, bringing that average up, because he was at like 80 charge for a while because of the Pharah and the different compositions they were running at the beginning. So
the only poke here is really sort of Widowmaker related, maybe a little bit custom.
But it's easy not to shoot the bubbles when you see it.
Exactly right. It's not like a Junkrat. Oh, okay. Mutual knockdown here. Both Reinhardts go for the charge. Fate got a Bionic Grenade to keep him a little bit healthier, but Custer was picked up on the high ground by Fury's Self-Destruct. Still got space in Fate here for the Valiant. You can see the Spitfire forming a little bit of a concave. They want to pressure ahead, but another Earth Shatter blocked by Fate. He's controlling space so well. Fury trying to get back in behind, and it's a good charge by Gesture. Space now has to step up. Kariv's being pushed back here by Nuss and by the Brigitte, of course, a Prophet. Time is running out, and it looks like the Valiant might just have to give this one up, but they made good progress. They've kept London quiet, and now they're ahead on time bank regardless.
I mean, even losing that fight, you feel pretty good if you're a Valiant fan. I mean, you hold on to Transcendence, you have a rally for this next fight. Fate, with how good he's been with his Earth Shatters, have another one. Gesture builds up towards another one rather quickly as well, already at 70%.
Gesture has definitely made up for his very slow first half here, Matt.
If you are the Valiant, you can get aggressive here with the rally. Doesn't even really matter if you die on this. Maybe you get Birdring just to use the grab, so you don't have the Graviton Surge as like a win condition towards the end of the map, right? If you can get him to use the grab here in this corner, that'll be a shatter that gets nothing. That's going to be the grab that gets eaten, I believe.
Yep, another in one. Birdring trying to come from the side, but somehow Space managed to catch that one. Nevertheless, Birdring is very well charged up and probably wants to try and put this energy to good use.
Well, now you have Soon play Junkrat, right? So that's
a big shatter,
one who wanted.
Good Transcendence to cover this one up. Now, no Ana for the Spitfire, so they can't cut through that healing with the Bio Nade. However, it's still going to definitely sort of displace them somewhat. Space now trying to, and Faith, they're trying to make up for lost time here, getting a bit more aggressive. Nanobu's committed to the right heart from the Valiant now. And the Spitfire can see them. They're pressured backwards. They're trying to jockey at this stage. And now the rally, though, mid-fight, as they recommit to the engagement. Soon very low, knocked away. He's on that Junkrat there. He needs to hold the fort on the payload, but he's taken down. He thought he'd be safe from Fury's self-destruct, but he wasn't.
Yeah, no massive support ult coming in here for the Los Angeles Valiant as Birdring is built up to another grab. Be able to just throw that one in the back corner. That's going to get 3 supports there.
All right, 1 out of 3. We'll take it. The Spitfire now getting close. Fate tries to go for another big Earth Shatter, but again gets very little. And the Spitfire will make it at least a little bit more interesting as we go to our final playthroughs of the map.
It's interesting. Now I mentioned like Birdring wasn't getting a ton of energy early on through the second stage. When Soon switches to the Junkrat towards the end, his energy jumps up from a little bit above 30, like 31, to an average energy of 44. Now this is an average, right? So it's much higher towards that end of the game because of the Junkrat. Ends up having he's able to build up a second grab.
And we have a stat here for Birdring. It was a Graviton Surge efficiency. I dare say that's the amount of targets caught in a Graviton Surge?
It is.
Yeah, so, or eliminations as a result of it. So 0.75. So less than 1 per Graviton Surge, and that is because obviously
everyone's getting eaten up by space.
Move them eaten up, that's right. So that would mean, I guess, well, you got 2 with the last one, or 3 with the last one, should I say? Either way.
So London doesn't change their compound defense here at all. Even though they got kind of rolled through point A rather quickly, they don't make any changes. I wonder if this plays into their favor though, because Valiant probably think they're going to make some kind of switches, right?
I mean, the comp we just saw from the Spitfire is something that actually evolved from, to be honest, it evolved from Open Division. We started Tier League and contenders and Tier 2 competitions. 303, 3 tanks, 3 supports, no DPS. I mean, you can make your arguments about Brigitte's role in that one, but tough to break. You can see the Valiant had trouble with it.
Look, D.Va puts down pretty good damage. Zarya, if you're just kind of spamming her down, puts in good damage. A lot of shield pressure here for the Valiant on offense. The Junkrat plus Roadhog. Roadhog is much better at breaking shields than, let's say, a D.Va, or even like a Zarya, right?
So close to do that. Soon catches away with grenade. Resurrected Fury, break line of sight to a degree, and see Space is trying to get up close. If you can get a hook over the lip of that building, and you can see that was a halt that was a defense matrix away. Fury doesn't want anyone to get displaced from that position, but they give up the high ground regardless and give it to Soon.
Well, I was going to say the threat of the halts though pushes London all the way back. They're scared to just get halted down. Like if Gesture gets halted down and then gets hooked in, like it's kind of game over.
You can see the poke damage. Like Space is punished for peeking out by taking about 300 damage. Soon is right behind the Spitfire. He's flanked Nas now. Wasn't a headshot. A little bit tough. Like if your target's a Mercy, you're trying to go for a flanking headshot. It can be kind of hard to find those. We saw Pine try and do it on Gibraltar, obviously, earlier on. Obviously, he had some weird flanks, but that's another story. Here's the Riptide, though. Now, this is going to head maybe over the top of Snax Rammus and drop in. They're looking for Zenyatta, looking for a Mercy, or 2 kills. Something you can't resurrect up, and that'll do it. Soon and Fate.
Agility is to use his tire, and it gets shot by Birdring. It's going to be Transcendence from Bidoshin right away. The Valiant can just back out here for a split second. It's going to be both support ults here for the London Spitfire.
Bidoshin there as well, using the Transcendence. He's not willing to give up his life, and he's more happy to trade his ultimate in, because that Riptide obviously would have been devastating for him. Worthwhile trade for the Valiant, if you ask me. Now Agilities has gone down early. Birdring finds the pick. Kareem is below Birdring. He's trying to find the right angle, but Fury spotted him here. Kareem can't flank. Bit of sideshow action there. Kind of works in the same way it did for him. Now we have a whole hog for Space. He can pressure that shield down, but he's so vulnerable, and there's no Orisa shield to protect him while he's turning away. And the Valiant fail to capture the point. That means we have ourselves a draw, of course.
Yeah, not able to get any picks there with their composition. They did force London off of the high ground. London did a great job playing around Prophet, keeping him alive, letting him get that big rip tire.
Big improvement from London in the second part of the map. Map 1 ends without a result. Map 2, however, just around the corner. We'll see you in a bit.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel. Intel Core i7 powers the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
Hey, it's Jake from Houston Outlaws, or the Twitch All Access AMA. Hey, it's Jake from the Houston Outlaws, or the Twitch All Access AMA.
No! No. Cancel, please.
Being in the know is a good thing. That's why Discover will alert you if your social security number is found on any one of thousands of risky sites.
It's an arcade of death for Gesture. That's right. Oh man.
저는 제스처라고 하고요. 런던 스피파이어에서 메인 탱커를 맡고 있습니다. 제가 생각하기에 오버워치 리그 MVP가 될 수 있는 조건은 이제 게임을 동일한 포지션에서 월등히 다른 선수들보다 잘하거나 아니면은 이제 팀원으로서 팀에서 되게 좋은 모습을 보여주거나 아니면 그 선수가 되게 뭐 스타성이 있거나 그 세 가지 정도 중에 하나인 것 같아요.
Another 5-0 rage, another 3 kills. Make that 4 for Gesture as he has owned Ilios Ruins. London will take the map.
메인 탱크에서 제일 중요한 점은 아무래도 팀원들을 이제 잘 싸울 수 있게 자리를 넓게 만들어주는 거랑 그리고 좀 팀의 플레이의 방향성을 잡아주는 거인 것 같아요. 제가 만약 MVP로 선정이 된다면 기분이 좋을 것 같은 이유는 아무래도 제 포지션에서 사람들한테 인정을 받았다는 사실 때문에 제일 기분이 좋지 않아요.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blizzard Arena. Always good to hear from Gesture there as well, and his On the Map series. And he's definitely on the table, part of the conversation.
Definitely makes a strong case, right? I know for either him or Profit, right? I know his teammate. Like, where is this London team without either of those two? I think they'd be in a lot of trouble.
Probably worse than 3-3 so far in a stage. Remember, hashtag OWLMVP is how you vote up on the Twitter sphere. And here have Gesture stats here. So very, very respectable. I mean, eliminations, Final Blows, Prime Rage, kills, jump pack kills, all well and truly up there. Just out of 26, mind you.
Yeah.
Talks about being a team player, right? As a main tank, you know, to be an MVP, it's maybe a little bit of a different set of criteria than for a DPS player, mate. You know, it's not always about those raw stats and raw damage. You know, he definitely talks about positioning, and these are the kind of things that we definitely want to look out for more, I suppose, as we see these tanks go head to head.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with the main tanks and, you know, flex tanks, right? I feel like they make the overall team better. You can see what somebody like you know, Fissure going to the Gladiators does for the rest of their team, right? You know, levels up their play. I feel like that's something that you have to take in consideration when you talk about the MVP. Although we do like, you know, the flashy Widowmaker plays and Jonak back there just dominating everybody. No, that stuff is not possible without the front line, without the front line giving them the space and pushing on forward and even giving up their life at times.
Yeah, naturally, you know, as it comes to decision time, we'll all be getting together and sort of trying to go through the top people that are sort of voted in.
I'm just going to make a decision. No, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Okay, you can do that, but ultimately we have to collaborate on that.
That's true.
It's a team game. Yeah, so, you know, that's what we're looking for as well. And everyone has, each role has their different set of criteria and expectations. But man, what do we expect of London Spitfire now? They showed us that Reinhardt Zarya composition actually looked pretty good. Birdring playing the Zarya. Good first point for him. Good last stage for him. The middle was a little bit rocky.
Yeah, but you can play that on offense here if you're London. You can play the same thing, that triple support, triple tank composition.
Yeah,
Lucio, Moira, Brigitte. You can play the Zarya, Rein in the D.Va on Horizon. It will be London on defense first, though. Because you can play that composition, like I mentioned, because you expect the defense to have the Orisa Junkrat set up on the high ground with the Widowmaker. It's kind of in the standard for Horizon defense. So what does the Valiant decide to play? They can play a lot of different things. This is where Kariv playing some DPS in the past can give you some flexibility. You could play like a Genji Tracer Widow if you wanted, no, with a Mercy solo support.
Go for the triple DPS, although it's more often been Tracer, Sombra, and Widowmaker.
Yeah.
It's been normally the, you know, you'd be surprised to see a Pharah here on first point just because there's such a wide expanse of open ground.
A lot of Widowmakers.
And a shield. Yeah, Widowmaker's out there as well. She's out there doing work. I guess in that case she'd be Widowaker, but
he should play Symmetra and teleport everybody up top. Not yet.
Not yet. That's going to be lit.
Look, as the young kids say, it's going to be lit.
Hello, fellow kids. Exactly.
Okay, so they'll play the triple DPS. Kariv will play Widow. So you'll have pretty much your dive minus Zen plus a Widowmaker.
Oh, that's a headshot.
He takes a big headshot there from Birdring.
Okay, so the Valiant just got absolutely spanked by Birdring there. Fate takes a headshot down to half health. He can't progress any further with his dive, and then obviously soon just get dunked on.
I noticed Birdring's player cam, like, it's kind of like, I've done that for years. It's like, you ever like play a shooting game and like the bullets are coming out? Yeah, like you kind of move. Yeah. It's just kind of cool.
It's like the first time I played a console game, and it was like a driving game. I think it was James Bond Racing for the PlayStation 1 or something like that. And I would turn my body the direction I wanted to go.
Oh, they got him. Fly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I expected.
I mean, that's exactly what I expected.
Spitfire. I was actually watching Jonak play stream last night on this map on the attacking side, and he kept flanking Zen out into the space area, and he actually got a lot done as Zenyatta because obviously he can sort of float about.
Jonak could do anything on Zenyatta. I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, for all the other well, if only you could tell that to the other Overwatch League flex support to try and beat him.
Soon as just in the back, going on to the point, just causing Fury to come down from the high ground. How do you take advantage of this? Agilities keeps going through the moon area there, just trying to cause some problems. That'll be Kariv sniping the Riptire. That's huge. It's a big ultimate. Here's going to be Agilities with his blade. And there's Agilities with his blade.
Yeah. Feast or famine sometimes, but Agilities and Dragon Blades this time, unfortunately, getting very little. They get a tick on the point, though. London look really robust defensively here, Matt. They're playing the very standard high ground composition. Birdring is hitting his shots. What year is it? I know. He's much better today. Profit on this Junkrat is also pressuring that low ground out.
It's a pulse bomb there that connects with Birdring. see if they try and res this. It looks like they're going for it, but it's broken up by Space. This is huge. Now the Valiant can push off of this. That's going to be 2 picks.
Space is an incredibly intelligent player, just interrupting the flow there for the Spitfire. Soon has been lost though, and the Transcendence used in perhaps a suboptimal scenario there. Soon's brought back to life now by Custer. Fury very low on health and still wants to jump into the fray. He's hoping for some Bidoshin healing. But in the meantime, Jester's gone down, so this Riptire needs to be highly impactful. And it might be a Mercy in his sights. Yeah, good decision there. And that makes life hard for Karish. He can't beat Birdring in the 1v1 without his Mercy.
Man, what a big Riptire there from Prophet. Just hunting down the Mercy. Able to take out Custa.
I feel like she's still the target you want to hit, right?
Oh, well,
95% of the time.
Especially in a solo support composition, yeah, absolutely. Custa gets a Valkyrie there. Who knows that things are a little bit different. Is Soon just trying to stay alive here.
Okay,
2 HP in a dream.
I'll see you out there. Now, the difficulty to Soon is that, well, I know that he's behind them. Kariv has Infrasight, so he's used that now. He'll see that in the entirety of the Spitfire grouped together on the point, and Custer
that's a push down.
Taken down. I mean, you don't have a static shield carrier in this composition, right? You have a dive team, so yeah, your Mercy can be vulnerable, although she's rather sprightly with the wings and all that.
Nuss is using Valkyrie in the back right now. I guess he gets pressured by Soon to the point where he has to use that support ult, which is quite big. You don't exactly hate it from the standpoint that Custa is the only support for the Valiant. You know he has Valkyrie. You're going to have Transcendence, so it's not like you don't have a support ult.
Well, the problem for Nuss is that he's not playing against a poke comp, he's playing against a dive comp, so getting
harder to get charged.
He's going to take more than one fight. There's a big stick there from Soon now. Won't yield a kill, and Jester's going to benefit from the healing of Bidoshin and that Transcendence. Agilities needs to take a breather for a moment here, and he's going to be followed up by the Riptide. There is no escape. He dashes away, but Prophet's wise to his antics and follows him across the map. Now the Valiant are all right of screen and somehow to the front there. You can see they can't really get to the point because that Orisa barrier is super strong. The Spitfire looking like they're in complete control in this map, and straight over the top there, but Ocean managed to get the D-suit on Space. He will be chased here. But again, there's not enough players for the Valiant to really make a proper concerted attempt at the point. Agilities comes in with a Dragon Blade, but it doesn't even get there. That is
a strong,
very good by London.
So Prophet's Riptire at the end was game-winning from 2 plays. So Fate dies on the point, and Custa goes in for the res, and then he hears the tire and he starts to back out. And then the tire is like moving around. He gets Agilities. Custa then goes over to Agilities, and he's gonna go for the res, but then Space gets low over by the point, so you can't do the res, then let the D.Va get DMAC, because you need somebody to contest the point. So he has to let Agilities die, go back to the respawn with Dragon Blade, and then has to go around to try and heal Space, keep him up. He's not able to do it because he gets chunked down. So I think you never get a use, I believe Fate had Primal, and then you never get a use of the Dragon Blade, a good use at the end. It's that Riptire from Prophet that just spirals that whole sequence of events into happen.
Well, let's have a look at exactly what you were just talking about, how that went down. Not the most complex of sequences here, but still very important.
So Fate has already died in the front. He's just moving back here. This is right after the tire because he knows that he has to keep Space alive to be able to contest the point.
He couldn't go for the Resurrect. It was far too far out in the open.
Well, it's out in the open. Well, you probably could have gotten that, even though it's in the open, because Space can sit in the front and just defense matrix the corner and like even above like a cone, so he could have eaten him.
Do you think you trade Space's mech in for that Resurrect?
No, you can't, because you need Space's mech to
That's what I'm saying, but he probably would have to, right, if he goes for that Resurrect. I mean,
it would have been close.
You're a single healer in a triple DPS composition. It's brutal, even at Mercy, who obviously overall has one of the highest damage outputs of supports in general. Maybe Moira can match her when she's dealing with tanky compositions. You have a lot of things to take care of, Matt. Your hierarchy of needs, old mate Maslow would be proud, is very complicated.
The hard part is too, it's like, when do you switch to a Zenyatta? It's like almost like, if it's below 1 minute and 30, there's almost no point. You're not going to get a Transcendence anyway, right? So.
Right, well, we're out of the gates now with the Spitfire, Matt. Talk to me.
Like I said, same exact comp. So they'll run triple support, triple tank. They know that there's going to be a Junkrat on the other side. This time, Birdring will be able to get a ton of charge now.
Contenders and Open League players looking at this saying, yes, now it's time for you to suffer what we have to. A 0 DPS composition from the London Spitfire.
So it's a lot of times we saw this early on in Horizon, obviously without Brigitte because she wasn't in the game. but it was like a quad tank. And how did teams stop it? They would either dive it, right? Just kind of get aggressive on the supports. But you can't exactly do that now with Brigitte, right? So
this comp gives so much charge to your Zarya, gives so much ultimate percentage to your Reinhardt, gives you so much healing in the form of Inspire procs. It's ridiculous. And the Moira, of course, giving you a lot as well. However, the Valiant sort of, they're ponying up here in this war of attrition. Now, they do give over a tick, but Fate takes a bit of a step forward. Jester's shield is pretty low, 700 or so on that one, but now they can come back and get aggressive. He got bubbled, right? Earthshatter here only finds Fate, but he's probably happy with that. You can't fortify when you're stunned. And there's a finish, but Agility's puts that one to bed real quickly. Riptide came in. It actually flanked the Spitfire just as they were on the front foot trying to engage. Agility's with 4 kills for the fight. You'd love to see it.
I'd say a minute and a little bit over a minute, like a minute and 9 seconds in terms of ult charge time to the tire. I believe Badoshan's in Coalescence, yeah, so he's not able to fade out of this.
That could have been
all 3 supports.
Could have been 4 there with Birdring quickly reacting to give himself his personal barrier. Now this is kind of tough, to find shots in between the shields, but you kind of need to get a pick here if you're the Widowmaker, because that just gets healed up and gives ultimate percentage. Now they also have the rally, by the way, so you see all that armor, which goes under shields, by the way, so you can regenerate your shield and none of the armor gets damaged by it. Ridiculous. Space charging forward, Gesture knocked back, and Fate now has to be careful. Yeah, he had to back out the doorway, otherwise he'd be pinned up against the wall. I don't mind this. Gesture now is sort of getting knocked out of position, but he'll be peeled up pretty quickly. Here's the grab, another Riptide. Oh, Agility doesn't get it done this time, and it was an involuntary C9 from the Valiant because they couldn't get on the point. Soon was a little bit late to the party there. They were pulled up by the grab.
Yeah, not able to get a touch there at the end. A nice grab from Birdring. Doesn't result in any kills. Kareev uses the Transcendence, but you're blocked off from the point.
I am happy with this from the Spitfire. They're looking very solid, looking watertight, and this is the best time to recover now, or now or never, to be honest with you. Halftime coming up. It's 1-0 after a draw in map 1 of the series. We'll be back after our experts break things down.
You've watched the matches, analyzed the hype, and now you help decide the first ever Overwatch League MVP. Cast your vote now for League MVP on Twitter with hashtag OWLMVP and your player's battle tag.
Come here, boy. Come on, treat. Who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? Who wants a treat? You want a treat, you're just a... No, wait, come on back.
Being in the know is a good thing. That's why Discover will alert you if your social security number is found on any one of thousands of risky sites.
After starting things off with a draw on Blizzard World, London gets a full hold on Horizon and are now up 1-0 over the Valiant at the half. Welcome back, everybody. We are partying here in the Blizzard Arena. It is Thursday night, and this is just match one of the day. So far, a pretty good one. We got a UK boy here on the desk. Pretty excited with what you saw from London.
Sure, yeah, definitely. I am actually a fan of London. I do enjoy it when they play really well because this team has so much potential. And I love what we've seen from them so far. They've not just been playing dive all the time in a really sloppy way. They've been playing a lot of tank as well. They've been playing Orisa on the defense. They look more coordinated. I think this is London looking positive for the future, I would say.
I like the sign behind you. Give Jeff an animated short. You were talking, but I was distracted. Our community is amazing with these signs. Let's look at the games, though, as we talk through some of the highlights and also some of the issues that we saw back on Blizzard World. A pretty nice start here for the Los Angeles Valiant. Number of comp changes coming through. They seem to slow down, though, on this final point, a stronghold from London.
Well, that's only because it is a slowing down in relativity to the first couple of pushes. They were able to cap the first two in only 10 kills happening in the game. So the LA Valiant are playing very slow and methodical, making sure that they take only the opportunities that London Spitfire are giving them. And as such, they got themselves a pretty nice time, but were unable to bring it up in overtime.
And London Spitfire on the offense, choosing not to go for a slow composition, but still using tanks. Instead, this 3-3 that they also used on Horizon, the Go Comp, whatever you want to call it, they're just running into teams. And they managed to make that go all the way through. Now, Birdring had some shocking gravitons that we're going to get to later on, but he also had a decent one towards the end of the map, and in general, the London Spitfire did look pretty good. And they're able to complete in overtime despite the best efforts of the LA Valiant. And this hold really was where the London Spitfire decided to step up in the game and really show their worth. They avoided Prophet getting killed by the Halt and a Hook. Fury was just on that diva duty, trying to eat all of the halts he possibly could. Then this tire coming out from Prophet. The tires all game have been excellent, and Prophet makes his name heard.
That was about 30%, just barely short of getting that tick, and now we go into the later rounds. Well, that's a little bit ago here as we had Boston in action, but here as we take a look at the action from game number 2, guys, let's talk what we saw on Lunar Colony, because London Spitfire very strong on the defensive end.
Yeah, this is a very peculiar match in Horizon because both teams ran the same defense with the Orisa, Junkrat, Widowmaker, but the attack was very different because Valiant decided to run triple DPS. You have Kariv, who is a flexible player. He ran DPS for the team before, but unfortunately, the way that you're trying to break the defense in that DPS style, it just takes too much. You don't have a main tank to be that big body when you're dealing with Junkrat and Orisa.
I feel like after watching these games, if you were watching it live, you'd think that the Valiant won that first game. No. Big draw, though, is now going to give London the edge. Let's talk about the tank battle, though, because we highlighted this coming in. Fate has the numbers on Reinhardt. Gesture has some pretty impressive numbers on Winston. How have they looked here in our first half?
So in the pregame, I was saying that I was going to be looking at Fate and Gesture, and that these two guys were going to be good indications of how the teams are playing today. In the first map, Fate was amazing. He really got the best out of Gesture by utilizing agilities perfectly to get those Earth Shatters. It's a really great way to make Reinhardt viable now. The Shatters are pretty easy to get if you have synergy with your Brigitte. However, when it came to Horizon Lunar Colony, I think that Gesture's Orisa proved to be superior.
And in general, the LA Valiant, I think, are very good at being able to play into enemy Reinhardts. They set Kariv and Soon up on sightlines so that they can put damage onto Gesture as soon as he drops his shield. And that means that while Space and Fate are just attacking him from the front, Gesture's under constant pressure because if he drops his shield at one little second, he's going to get a headshot from the Widowmaker, and he's going to get a load of a volley of orbs coming out from the Zenyatta as well. So he's got a lot of pressure, a lot of stuff to think about all the time. And that tends to swing things in the favor of the LA Valiant.
It really felt like the Valiant tried to force pressure onto Gesture to make him uncomfortable by making a lot of swaps that were very powerful against a Reinhardt, like the Ana swap from Custa towards the very end of point B, the Pharah swap from Agilities in the first point defense. So the team is definitely making a lot of groundwork in winning that tank war, and I think that so far it's been working. They're 6-0.
London is in the lead, though, here at the half. One concern, though, we had coming in, you mentioned Prophet looking really good.
Yep.
Birdring has been off. This is a star player, a guy that we all thought could be an MVP candidate. His Zarya, a little bit off today.
Well, his default play with the Zarya wasn't too bad, but he started the game with not much charge. And what is this? This is a Graviton when they've already picked 2 players. Just gets eaten because he fires it past Space. Space has been on point. I think Fury's also had a good game. Birdring here throws it in, but he's already lost Prophet. Nusra's about to die. I think a lot of these grabs have been very poor. Another one gets eaten here as well before he's able to do the final one. Again, Space completely on point. But what a positive for me is that they're trying different compositions. Birdring doesn't need to have the most incredible individual performance because they've got a good idea of how to play this composition. And then when they went and played him on Widowmaker on Horizon, he was actually doing really well and he was being able to win that 1v1 against Karif. So at the end of the day, Birdring's kind of okay, but the rest of the team's being able to prop him up.
He just needed a little time to warm up, and I think the Valiant learned, don't roll a Junkrat into his Zarya. That 100 charge Birdring's pretty darn accurate. Crumbs, we've got your team, of course, the London Spitfire in the lead. Sorry, but you chose the other side of the stage, the LA Valiant. How did the Valiant get back in this in the second half? They need to win both.
So the Valiant, unfortunately, you can't take it to a game 5, so control is out of the question. So you're going to have to go with 2 back-to-back wins. I think that Agilities is going to be the key here. In control, the Pharah is a very big deal. And when you move over to the payload map, well, the Reinhardts tend to be really important. So I think Fate and Agilities are the guys to look out for. They need to be able to beat Birdring and Jester, respectively.
Keep your eyes on the DPS and, of course, that main tank from the Valiant. Guys, that's going to do it for our halftime coverage. The match ready to kick off once again. But before we go, we all know that the Overwatch League has some of the greatest and most passionate fans in the world. And most of us get a chance to enjoy the full experience of the sights and sounds of the matches. But for the Valiant fan, Danik Sodakov, he cheers as hard for his team, even though his experience is slightly different. Let's take a look. We'll be right back.
We are live here, Blizzard Arena, make some noise! Back on the point right now. Oh, but Agilities with the 2K tire, and that's gonna tie up Nepal.
Valiant
Here we go.
Fighting back for that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, the Los Angeles Valiant.
Soon has been so huge.
And New York has actually lost this fight. Valiant will take the series 3-2.
Such a massive win for the Valiant.
My goal is to join you guys soon on the Valiant team. And congratulations on the win.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
card?
Hey, I'm curious about your social security alerts.
Oh, just sign up online and we'll alert you if we find your social security number on any one of thousands of risky sites.
That sounds super helpful. How much is it?
Well, if you have a Discover card, it's free.
No way.
Yes way. We just think it's important for you to be in the know.
All right.
Hey. Ooh. Everything okay?
Being in the know is very good.
Yeah, it is. Oh, don't shake, don't shake. Ah!
Know if your social security number is found on risky sites. Free from Discover.
Welcome back, everybody. The London Spitfire currently hold the 1-0 lead over the LA Valiant at the half in our first match of the night. And you know what? It's been a pretty close game thus far. Of course, we had a draw in the first map and a hold the second by London, but not really any all-star performances from either team. But while we're on the subject of all-stars, for those of you who didn't know, all-star voting powered by Intel is open and available to you right now. All you gotta do is go to blizz.ly/Intel All-Star Game, log into your Blizzard account, and pick your starting lineup for the Pacific and the Atlantic Division. So if you have a mix of tanks, attack, support, or flex players that you want to put together to make your dream team, you can do that, but make sure you do it ASAPly because voting will close on June 17th. Get it? All right, my friends, so it is match point London right now because all they need to do is win one more map to secure this match. Can the LA Valiant stave off losing their winning streak? Let's find out right now and get back to the game with our casters, Uber and Mr. X.
Yes, indeed. That's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of signs out there.
Yeah, there's some fantastic signs, by the way. Let's so is Sharkcast. I mean, she's a Sharkcaster. She's done it before. Maybe that's something we can do.
This is not Minecraft. That guy was actually.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
That guy was correct. That's an accurate sign.
It's not the other game where you build and shoot either.
No building
different. Thank you guys for putting so much effort into those signs in the front row. That's
cool.
a heck of a lot of fun. Yeah, so remember to vote for your players, guys. You can do it over on that website. Make sure your 5 picks for the Pacific Division are locked in alongside Custer. Vote Custer. Vote Custer.
Petitioning for the fellow Australian.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely should be in there. Boyd, let's go. Anyway,
I think.
Speaking of which,
yeah, I agree.
Custer and the rest of his team not in a great spot right now. Drawing the first map and then losing the second means that they have sort of one chance left in this series. We're in map 3, but London Spitfire could already take the series by that point if they win Lijiang here coming up.
But you don't feel great that it's London has to win one map and you have Control coming up next in a brawly type of game against Birdring and Prophet. Those two guys could just dominate one of these points. Gesture kind of starts getting your backline going off, and this thing's a London Spitfire series real quick. So Valiant need to come out and start real good here in Lijiang.
Yeah, this needs to be pretty special. Now, agility's on the Pharah is always a good sign for Valiant fans. Will it be enough?
I don't even really question agility's on Pharah. He's been very good. It can soon come alive on Widowmaker against Birdring.
I feel like his statistics over this series haven't been stellar, but I mean, Agility doesn't care. He's just turned London Spitfire into potting mix, and our Prophet can't really do too much.
I still find it ridiculous that Agilities at one point was out of the lineup, and they were playing.
The Resurrect the Meme, man.
And they were playing Kareev. Kareev was very good, but still.
It is astonishing. Yeah, I think for that team to sort of settle, I guess they had to try a couple different things. Obviously, did he ever really need to be on his last legs? Yeah,
Hey, look, it's really impressive that the Valiant, they have that one stage where they play pretty bad, stage 2. Yeah, they're second in the league right now, even through that stage, right? If that was a good stage for them, they'd be well ahead of everybody else.
I know, it's crazy, right? And yet we still have doubts, Matt. But Ocean just eats a bullet there from Soon, from actually exceedingly long range. He threaded the needle to find that shot past 2 tanks. And that one pick forces at least a attempt now to regroup. Okay, now Soon's delivering. He gets Bidoshin a second time. And the crowd goes wild, of course. Here's the follow-up, though, the dive. Space going to go in, not fully committing, just ducking back a little bit. But Agility's free to get a bit of damage off towards the side. Now, I don't know what the follow-up was like there.
Why not?
It's not about getting the kill, Matt. It's about sending a message. And that one, airmail, straight to Birdring's face.
You make a joke about that? I believe it. I'm sure there have been a lot of people, chat, play a lot of Overwatch, and somebody solo ults you, and you proceed to scream at, whether it's you play on a monitor, TV. I imagine it's the same thing for Birdring there. The solo Rocket Barrage comes down, some changes here. Prophet goes away from Faro, will go over to Tracer.
Back to the point goes Agilities. Oh, Nusk. Oh, okay, actually gets that Resurrect there. It turns out Fate didn't want to interrupt that and opted to go for Birdring instead. That was odd.
Yeah, more interested in trying to push the Widowmaker off the side, give Agilities more space as Barda, just keep doing what he's doing.
Makes sense when you put it that way. Primal Rage here for Gesture. Again, the Valiant a little bit of dangerous spot being in that house. You can see Soon's silhouette there just before he got crunched by the Primal Rage Winston. Agility still controls the point though, and the Spitfire need to send and deliver pretty soon. Fury getting rid of space is definitely going to pave the way, and Agilities is already not feeling confident about this fight. It's done.
No, it's really good when they can get the Foreign down onto the point. That's where you want Agilities to fight from. You don't want them out in the open in the sky. That's where you can cause a lot of his damage. You put him in a controlled area on the point. Fury can start putting some more damage down. Prophet as well onto Agilities, and then you're able to take him out. Let's see if they decide to switch off this, though.
Interesting that Soon, I believe, most of his kills come early in the round as well. Sort of before the Valiant had that lead. After that, he just sort of sat back a bit and got pressured out by the tanks.
They have no clue that Prophet's here.
No Prophet. Taking this one.
the crowd screaming no.
Yes.
They almost know.
Yes!
They almost
do it!
Know what will happen here.
No, he's still thinking about it. Now the Valiant are getting one. I think he's looking for a Kareev or Soon pick, right? Yeah. Force a Transcendence. Oh, he's gonna do it! Yes, he is! You can't stop him! Oh, he doesn't quite get the one clip, and Soon's healed back up. Does it resort to the Pulse Bomb as like a last measure? He gets nothing out of that either. Fine, you win. You guys win. Fine. Didn't get it.
It doesn't get anything there at the Pulse Bomb. They do lose Fate, though. He's coming off the respawn now. It's gonna be dangerous here for the Valiant. If they don't get anything out of this push, they have to make some changes in terms of their DPS. You may never get like a Dragon Blade or whatnot, because we're gonna be up near. So if they don't go aggressive here, Mitch, you're gonna see the Spitfire get up to like 80% with this one fight.
Yeah, they spent so much time, Matt, just kind of getting in a position or just setting up. The bridge method didn't work. Win. All right, well, they pushed him back for now, so it's kind of a decent positioning setup here. Agilities wants to hunt towards Birdring here. That's a lovely little rocket to connect, but he's being pocketed. Do the barrage! Do the thing! Come on! Nope. I was hoping he'd go for that one there, but again, he can set up in a position now, wait for the Transcendence to get forced out. This is much better time to use such a big ultimate here. Does take a hit, I'd say that it is from Birdring, but he goes down. Kareev actually the one getting his counter snipe on. Both Widowmakers are missing that.
They tried to keep Birdring alive for so long, pocketing through all that damage. Gesture does get Fate, though, as we go into overtime.
Here's the barrage.
99.99.
Agilities actually having 2 defense matrices placed over him there, one from Fury, one from Space, so he doesn't take damage, he doesn't do it either. Oh, Kareev receives Prophet. Custard trying to go in for a Resurrect. Kareev having to play a little bit more aggressively to make sure he doesn't get wrapped on. And now Space can get the remake. Fate's back with good health. Soon and Birdring are dueling on the other side of the map right now. Tracer v Widowmaker, and Soon comes off second best. Oh, here it is. All right. Time for Thanos to make his appearance. Agility's big connection there. Seismic uppercut to knock away the mech, but a lot of the work has already been done. And the brains and the brawn come together.
Got scary there for a bit, though. And it's, I believe it was...
Mr. Valiant, I don't feel so good.
Yeah. I believe it was Timon back in Contender Season 1, where we saw a lot of, like, Pharah on control points. We take a look at some highlights here from Agilities, but talking a little bit about how difficult it is to retake the point with a Pharah. It's quite easy to take the point with a Pharah, and when you have control of it, be able to do that. But when you're trying to retake with a Pharah and have to go in towards the point, down towards some of these areas where the Pharah is a lot more vulnerable, it's a lot harder to do.
So, in the Birdring v Soon Stoush, Birdring had a much better map round in general versus Soon. Soon very quiet after the Valiant lost control that first time. Agility's definitely stepped up in a big way. Now Soon to the McCree. Birdring, okay, so this is the composition again from Spitfire, the 303. And again, it's going to be tough to break. And McCree probably be a bit frustrating to play this role because a lot of your damage is going to get healed.
They play a little bit of a different setup, though, to the Valiant. They'll have no Brigitte. They're going to have space plays. So it's something we were talking a little bit during halftime, is that you can't run this if you're the Valiant. You probably could run this comp as a mirror right into what London's doing, but Soon doesn't really play either D.Va or Zarya. Agilities, we know he can play Roadhog. You don't know how his other tanks are. So you can't really play this if you're the Valiant. So you have to kind of piece together with what you have something to work against.
And the issue is, Matt, is that the general consensus from a lot of teams that have been sort of either using or encountering this composition, the
just trying to mirror back.
Join it. Yeah,
you're just trying to mirror back.
And if the Valiant don't have the capacity to run an effective mirror into it, then it's a bit rough. I like the Pharah here. I think she's good. I think on her own that she doesn't counter this comp by any stretch of the imagination. And now, Custer's going to get lasered out of the sky.
So my issue with the Pharah, I kind of like the Pharah on the open maps against this, like I was talking about earlier. Like when we saw it on Blizzard World, I kind of I liked it. Okay. When they were playing with the Brigitte, I enjoyed it as Soon switches
so do you think that Agilities is more susceptible to a Moira?
My issue here is that without like something, when they were playing McCree, for argument's sake, who is finishing off the kills that Agilities puts down? There's not really much to kind of get in and be aggressive.
The shields.
Right. So you're just giving them support ult charge, and you're giving Birdring a little bit more charge on his Zarya.
Can you play Junkrat and force him to switch?
You could do something like that and just try and overpower them with damage.
Like that? Just like that. Agility's pounds gesture. No big change in team composition, by the way. It was just the Pharah getting very nice ult, and that's a good kill.
I mean, could you play a triple tank and instead of playing almost the same type of thing as we see a Grav come down here? Birdring, that'll be a self-destruct that takes out Soon. You still have Agilities up in the sky, dude.
Oh my gosh, Agilities!
So could the Valiant play the same thing here, Mitch? Instead of playing D.Va, play like Roadhog and have Agilities play Roadhog and just try and push their way in that way? So you sub out the D.Va for a Roadhog and you play Rein, Zarya, Roadhog.
Again, you're probably pretty afraid of Graviton Surge because it's going to be a death knell to you regardless of comp.
Yeah.
Having the D.Va there to eat it up, it's pretty good. So obviously Space now not playing D.Va, he's playing Zarya himself. So London maybe have that small advantage in that regard where they can sort of beat those grabs. But Space, he wasn't born yesterday. He's thinking about how to use the grab, and he's definitely not going to shoot it down range. Into the wall, very clever. Okay, Gesture and Prophet both caught up with that one. Oh, it's lovely to see. The Valiant, a very good response. Now, the fight's not done yet, but Fury's desuited it. Well, it's not looking great after the fact. Birdring very charged. You can see Agility's health just completely disappear, and Fury is met with a rocket to the face. The Valiant have adapted, and it's working for now.
Yeah, Soon has provided a ton of utility to the lineup, playing Brigitte.
He was one of the first Brigitte players on this team as well.
You can play more aggressive with the Brigitte, so when you play the McCree at the beginning, you can't really kind of push in the McCree. Can't really do much, although you play the McCree, you don't expect this composition to come out from London. Birdring with a grab here. Let's see who you can connect with. You don't have you're gonna have a Transcendence here just in a few seconds here for Kareem, so you have that big support ult to keep everybody up.
Fate biding his time. He needs an impactful Earth Shadow to secure the map win. Oh, the beautiful! You can't ask for much more than that. Gets himself 3, and Fate finishes one off with a Fire Strike. Fury's low, gets desuited. I love the Ryan games. Beautiful. And now Birdring will probably get back to spawn in some way or another. Prophet, however, is unlikely to be so fortunate. He will try and wrap around and he will get caught ultimately. Gesture trying to charge down towards Fate, and that's not going to be enough. The Valiant keep their series hopes alive. And now they set up a map for tiebreaker. Winner takes all.
Agilities with 12 final blows, only 2 deaths, 31% of team damage there. The Pharah was sick.
I mean, what's new? Fate is sick, Agilities is amazing. All is right in the world. Now London, after a very strong map 2, have got to bring it back for this final stash. This is going to be good. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel. Intel Core i7 powers the Overwatch League.
Damage available. And Boyer has so much ability to be able to just get away from players like Linkzr on the Tracer. Now getting very close, building up the ult, and there it is.
Oh, okay, the Coalescence coming out here. Jaehong's just giving the Houston Outlaws a good hosing down. Oh, they're clean indeed. But that push from Soul was nothing but dirty.
No! No. Cancel, please.
Being in the know is a good thing. That's why Discover will alert you if your social security number is found on any one of thousands of risky sites.
In Stage 4, Week 3, the Los Angeles Valiant took their matchup against the New York Excelsior all the way to a tiebreaker map on Nepal.
It's going to be fireworks here, lots of ultimates on both sides for these teams.
Yep. As the Valiant neared complete control of the point, the XL came in with one last chance to win the map.
They're not done yet. New York trying to hold on.
Mono's Winston and Meko's Tracer were on the point trying to gain control. Meko eliminated Fate's Orisa, and New York's duo engaged with Karif's Tracer and Space's Roadhog. The real danger came from Agility's Junkrat, who sent a Riptire from near spawn and cleared the points of any remaining NYXL players.
Mana back on the point right now. Oh, but Agility's with the 2K tire, and that's going to tie up Nepal.
The Los Angeles Valiant won the map and the match, handing New York their first loss of the stage.
Such a massive win for the Valiant. They needed this one.
That right there was the turning point where Agilities and the Los Angeles Valiant turned a sour moment into something sweet. Presented by Sour Patch Kids Candy.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe. Now, we need to talk. Going up against a struggling London Spitfire after defeating the league's juggernaut, NYXL. Did the Valiant expect this match to be that close? The answer is pretty simple. No, they did not at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Their coach told me that they were surprised it ended up looking that close. In fact, they felt like the London Spitfire came overly prepared. So much so that it seemed like they even kind of changed up their playstyle to match up against the Valiant. That's been working out pretty well. And on the other side, Valiant don't feel like they responded well, if at all, to what the London Spitfire was throwing at them. In fact, their coach actually admitted to me that maybe, but just maybe, this big win over the NYXL got those players a little bit overconfident. However, they came back into the second half storming, tying this series up. You think the Valiant can take this one home? I guess we're gonna find out on map number 4.
Yeah, thank you, sorry. Interesting to hear that. Do you really think it was the fact that the Spitfire prepared for the Valiant? Or maybe they just learned how to play triple tank, triple support?
You had to expect London to fix some of their problems coming into this match if you're the Valiant. You had to expect to see a different look.
They got creamed by the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah, you had to expect a different look for the London Spitfire coming in. The Valiant, though, they've seemed to adjust it since halftime. I know they had a really rough go on Horizon. Once the Spitfire adjusted to this triple tank, triple support lineup back on Blizzard World, and they were able to, make some progress there. They've been pretty successful. We saw the Valiant do a nice job in that previous map, though.
We talked about you maybe not wanting to see the Pharah on Command Center just because it's a little bit more constrained for her. Do you think the composition we saw from the Valiant might actually be potentially, in the future, a counter to this 303 approach?
It's what they can run to do it. I mean, you can always run a mirror back, right? And just try and be better than the other team at what they do.
That would be mind-numbing to watch.
I mean, it's hard because obviously those three healers we're talking about, Moira, Brigitte, and Lucio, provide a ton of AoE healing. You could run a kind of version of your own, maybe with an Ana, and try and use the Biotic Grenade, right? Because that's where Ana shines with the Biotic Grenade.
Bad value against tanks who are clubbed together as well.
The anti-heal with all the AoE healers, you know they're going to be packed together. Maybe you get some use out of that. Although Ana, not great against barriers when you have two Reinhardts in the mix and whatnot. It could be kind of iffy. I mean, the Pharah, look, the Pharah makes sense, but on a point like Control Center, I was worried that you can just get caught on the outside for a while, just poking damage. Nobody's able to push on in and finish any of that off. Then you're giving up tons of support ultimates and whatnot. They're able to make it work, though. So it'll be a Pharah on offense here quick. Agilities will now go back to spawn and change.
That was a cute concussive blast. That actually knocked Birdring on the low grounder, which means didn't mean he was going to die. It just means he didn't really have anything to shoot at.
So here's another thing. I mean, could you have played Hanzo against that comp that they just ran? Could you have played Hanzo and just tried to chunk them down with damage,
play Pharah or Hanzo. I mean, not both, I suppose. So I wonder about Soon's hero pool, what it encompasses, because he had to become the Widow player last stage when you decided Bunny would be the Tracer specialist for the team. That's a good question. I had to ask him that. Anyway, the Valiant Space played really well on Zarya prior. And you can see that, yes, everyone is aware that Soon is peeking around the side of the Halt. Will bring him back to face justice.
Space was pretty charged up. He uses a jump to get up to the high ground. Not able to do anything with his bases. London's going to go back and set up.
Okay, this is super interesting. So instead of giving the Valiant space to set up here, they decide to make a more aggressive move and position where you normally would see teams already back away. When teams leave this high ground, they rarely retake it, so I kind of like it, but Agilities, Hanzo, gets himself a kill.
And now you have to see a mad rush from London to go back and set up the Orisa barrier, and now Soon able to come on that flank. Some kills put down by Agilities on Hanzo. Agilities' Hanzo's made up about 40% of their team damage thus far, so you can see the Hanzo just creates so many problems. Obviously, they're not the updated Hanzo that's on live. It's still Scatter Arrow. That's going to be a nice dragon that actually takes out Prophet there as he's calling in the retire. Still effective, but everybody else dead, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite nice. It looks like as he's channeling the Riptire animation, it's not subject to damage from the Dragon Strike, so managed to sneak it out of the Dragon Strike and get it done. So, Fury was supposed to be there to try and slant the Widow duel in the favor of Birdring, but he's a little bit too late to the party. Now Gesture taking damage, they'll resurrect Birdring and keep back up. But Sue's hitting shots now. Your boy's waking up. That cuckoo clock be going off.
Gesture switches over to Rein. Space will make a change from Zarya over to D.Va. So when you have no Junkrat on the other side, you see D.Va come out. When you see Junkrat on the other team, that's when they'll run Zarya in this type of comp. So
No one can hide.
there'll be a Infrasight here soon. Nuss is gonna pop Valkyrie. You're just using that to keep Gesture alive. He's taking so much damage with no shield here. It's a Fate with his Shatter.
Oh,
Shatter's been so good.
Oh, he set something up here, though. At least force out the Transcendence. Yeah, okay. Nice little response there. A good stun out on towards Fate to make it hard for him to go in. Transcendence, though, this is going to help the Valiant. They get the Resurrect on Agility through that. Fate barely gets his shield back up in time and gets that extra healing. Jeez, the Valiant are riding the lightning here, Matt. They were so aggressive and it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, they used both support ults to keep everybody topped up. Agility's going into the back. He'll take out Bidoshin as it's going to send Nuss trying to just survive up on the high ground. So it'll be Gesture using Primal Rage trying to stay up. Agilities does have a rally. Do you decide to use it here? Custa getting pressured out so low.
Is he going to be Houdini here? He gets the healing back. Gesture standing in between Custer and his intended target, but his intended target.
He got the health pack as well.
He got the heals. Gesture gets very little done there. A chaotic fight, but ultimately the Spitfire spawning a little bit closer so they can pressure out with numbers. But the Valiant are going to try and keep this pressure up themselves.
Oh, but they lose Custa and Agilities. Those are two big kills there for the London Spitfire.
Soon already has more kills on Widow than he did on all of Lijiang Tower.
So, this is a little bit easier to play the Widowmaker here. It's a map that we see a ton of. Well, we've always seen a ton of Widowmaker here, like even in the past, right? It's like Lijiang. You're just starting to see a lot of Widowmaker in Overwatch League because she's so strong, like on the.
Just good everywhere.
Right. Well, it's like if you were thinking like, okay, well, why don't we run like McCree here or Soldier? It's like you may as well just run Widow for the one-shot capability.
She's the safest way of getting a pick.
Yeah.
She has more mobility than both McCree and Soldier, arguably, in the latter case.
And I feel like Infrasight as an ultimate is extremely underrated.
Beautiful! Look at that! 3 knockdown, another Transcendence. Very timely use of that ultimate by Bidoshin. See Fury buffets the Valiant away. It looks like the Spitfire aren't ready to actually try and make it a winning fight yet. They're just trying to group up a little bit more. Maybe wait out this Valkyrie. Nuss is going to use his. Now, there's the Transcendence for the Valiant. This is where you need to get aggressive behind this ultimate. Try and make something of it. Oh, the charge Fate! Oh, this guy! He's 3 steps ahead. Or 20 meters if you think about it in charge distance. And Agilities is back on his feet now. The Valiant have a full squad to play with. Custer has Valkyrie.
Yeah, and he's using that Valkyrie to hunt down Birdring. He's able to take down Birdring and Nuss.
He's got another Earth Shatter, Matt. This is so ridiculous. That Discord Orb will get the job done on Gesture, and the Valiant looks super good. Soon's looking amazing.
I'd love to show the clip of Custa there. He's able to take out 2 players during Valkyrie. He takes out Nuss and Birdring, who's sitting up on the high ground.
Space. It turns out he makes a better door than a window. Alright, we're gonna get it. How about that? Here's your boy.
Look, you want to make the All-Star game. These are the type of plays you got to make.
Oh, yes!
Let's go. The Battle Mercy, chasing Neptuno's spot of 1 final blow every 10 minutes.
Did you do a Dutch Courage shoey before this game? Can't tell. Big Earth Shatter again, gets himself 2 knocked off course, though Fate can't quite connect. Doesn't really matter, though, because Bidoshin is still wrecked by the self-destruct. Oh, man, that 2K was so spicy.
Gesture just gets pushed out of the way. Nobody even close to him. For London, you're not able to keep him alive at all.
Nothing really slowing down the Valiant right now. And for the Spitfire, what are they really working with ultimate-wise coming up? Maybe the Transcendence. Bidoshin, to his credit, been pretty good at sort of getting those nice and quickly. Still been slightly slower than Kareev, however. About 2 minutes per ult.
They have to use a repair pack on a Bidoshin to keep him up. Gets really low.
Oh! No Transcendence for Bdoshin. That was a perfect pick and soon found it. I can't believe Bdoshin peeked again without just transcendencing and walking onto the point. He might have thrown this one away for the Spitfire now. Nuss trying to get there, bubbled up on the Lucio, making his way forward. His protection now having expired, and Fury only got about 100 HP himself. All right, we see the Transcendence now being used, Graviton Surge, but zero follow-up. It's just a desperation move there. They really wanted that trans earlier on, Matt. Another Earth Shadow, that one was just for Gesture. A little gift just for him. Charge in, Fate is everywhere at once. There aren't many things that make me so as pleased as the Valiant just firing on all cylinders like this. This is very enjoyable, very classy Overwatch to see. And honestly, I feel like we saw a little bit from that from the Spitfire at the start of the series, but everything's working well. Agilities has been very, very good on the Brigitte mostly. Excellent Transcendence play. Fate's tank play's just been out of this world. Maybe we put him back in the conversation, Matt, for MVP. Maybe.
I mean, it's possible. He has been... I think if you wanted to talk about the Valiant as a whole throughout the year, I think you'd probably say Fate has been their consistent best player from stage 1 to now. Beautiful charge there on the Prophet. But look, this team has been much different since Agilities has been back in the lineup full time. You've added Space and you've added Custa. I mean,
what are they now? Are they 14 and 3?
13 and 3 since they've added Space and Custa.
I thought that was before the New York game.
No, that was after. There you go.
Yeah. 13 and 3. And I guess a little bit tough for the Valiant. I spoke to Custer about this as well, because a couple of their stages have opened up with sort of their first 6 or so matches. Well, first 4 or 5 matches have been against sort of lower table teams. And they said, look, it's really hard for us to sort of be in the conversation as the best team when we're out here just sort of winning games that everyone expects us to win.
It's, yeah. I feel like the last stage, right? We talked about the Valiant. It's like, oh man, they're so good. They're one of the best teams. And then they finished 6 and 4, and we didn't talk about them for the final like 3 weeks.
I mean, the last couple of weeks were tough because they had to make that adjustment, right? Agilities didn't get nearly as much play time. They're using Bunny and Soon, and both of them. I think Soon more than Bunny. Bunny's obviously always been a Tracer player, but Soon, and they're trying to play, Genji comps into sort of Orisa Junkrat. We saw a lot of Temple of Anubis play from them, which was really average over that stage in general. But hey, that's in the past now. Look at these guys. Wings out indeed.
What's up? They'll play the standard Junkrat Widow Orisa comp on the high ground. Bdoshin will try and knock some of these players off the high ground, the concussion line. The start, knocks Fate down.
That's the best one you can get. You can't put any shields back on the high ground now.
Yes.
The Valiant have to give up so much ground without any poke opportunities and without ult generation opportunities from their damage. That is so sick.
So this is a ton of shield pressure coming in from the London Spitfire. Fury on Roadhog, Prophet on Hanzo, Birdring as well, the Widowmaker, then obviously Gesture playing Orisa. See how Fate plays this, trying to keep that barrier up and stay alive.
Fate's actually using his Fortifier first and then his barrier, so it's like he's trying to prolong the time that they can sort of hold one position where they're having to back up, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, you do get the damage mitigation with Fortifier.
So. Karif sees that immediately. Discord Orb on Birdring. That was very fast. So far, so good. The Valiant is able to hold up here inside this choke. But yeah, the Spitfire definitely have that advantage in sort of poke damage. Birdring has spotted out Soon. Now, I wonder if Soon knows where he is. He probably has an inkling, but he can't be sure. Now he knows. He's just eaten a poison mine, so he's revealed. And Fate goes down to Prophet, though, as well. That's tough. Playing without your Orisa here. You need a big kill to try and even the odds and get that pressure valve. But Bdoshin is not going to do it. You're just going to resurrect that up. Much the same as Agilities. And you still have no Orisa.
No, you may have one attempt here if you're the Valiant, like a good fight, but Fate gets back. But now it's dangerous because London has so much space. Now this is where the double snipers can really come into play. It'll be a Dragon that comes in from Prophet.
Oh no, Fate. Fairly alive. He probably would have liked to hang around a little bit longer if he can. Being healed up now. Karif gets ultimate percentage here, but Soon's down to Fury. Agility's Bdoshin. Oh, Agility's very fortunate there. Birdring not finding his head. Now to pressure forward. They bring back the Orisa. That's the Resurrect they wanted last time but couldn't get. And now the Transcendence just to hold off. Again, when you're in this position as a Valiant, you just want to make it very costly in terms of time for the Spitfire. The real hold you probably want to come at the last stage. Right now you want to make this very, very onerous.
And you may be able to swing this. They get Bdoshin, Gesture, and Birdring, and Fury using Whole Hog. He can't heal himself up. You just have Nuss there. As they'll be able to hold on through this. That is a huge play. The Supercharger used to give them the extra damage to just plow on through.
The implications are huge now. the fact that the Spitfire lose all momentum. The Valiant set up now.
They used a ton of ults there. Dragon Strike, Whole Hog, Supercharger, in Transcendence. So you have nothing coming into this fight. This fight's pretty much a wash, right?
Can't be happy about that. It is a wash, unless Prophet finds a way to... Never mind. Let's carry on. Unless Prophet finds a way to get to the back line.
Space breaks at the res as well.
Yeah. Prophet doesn't get brought back, so they have to wait even longer. He's very good at doing that, aren't they? A lot of awareness about stopping those resurrections, keeping those picks relevant. You know, normally a one-man pick doesn't mean much, but if you follow up, prevent the res with this kind of aggressive posturing,
this is going to be bad for London. Under a minute, Riptire on the other side, Valkyrie. Valkyrie will be up for both teams, but really the Riptire. If the Riptire connects with Benocean, you have no chance of getting a Transcendence, and then you'll have Kareem, who's most likely in the back, unless he gets picked, end up with his. Again, that's probably the play.
It's about making sure that you can get 2 kills or the Mercy here, really. You want to stop that sort of resurrect from being an option. Double takedown, and then soon steps forward. Birdring gets his bell rung. And now, of course, this is just yeah, just a little bit of cherry on top. And now there's 17 seconds left of the round. The Spitfire might have fallen at a very important hurdle here. Can you imagine the Valiant to go 7-0 in this stage? Their last 2 foes would have been the NYXL and the London Spitfire. That possibility looks like it may come true. No ultimates really for the Spitfire. They've used that Valkyrie hold to keep them in place. Gesture is down. They need to get a resurrect on their Orisa straight away, but the Valiant got to get aggressive behind that. They know that London are going to commit to this. Now with a Transcendence for Kareem available, they can move forward. Push them off the payload. This is our land. This is our city, they say. They're going to stop the Spitfire from getting in now. Gesture trying to push up. We have the Dragon Strike coming through. Cleverly, the Valiant back away. Give a bit of ground, but they lose players in the process. They left Fate and space out to dry. Soon needs to save this. And Agility Riptire. It doesn't even matter. Oh, Jack!
The Riptire.
Back to the board. Wipe it clean. The Valiant will take the series 2-1 after a slow start.
The Riptire just pushes them back off of the point. There's nothing they can really do. Once they lose their main tank, the rest of the members, you either go onto the payload, you die to like a 4-person Riptire, or you back up, try and shoot it, and then get back on. They're not able to get back onto the payload. They'll lose here to the Valiant today.
I mean, every map Agilities has been such an important factor in this team. The Farah on Lijiang was a winner. The Junkrat here was huge. Soon waking up for Dorado in general. Fate's incredible tank play across the whole series. You can't have your boy Custy going nuts. A well-deserved win for the Valiant here. The Spitfire back to the drawing board once more. They need to recover here and set themselves up for that finals berth. Whoa, what a match! We'll see you guys later on in the day. Now to a break and then the desk.
Are you ready?
Today, you're in for a real treat.
There's no stopping them. That is it. There we go. What a wild match.
No! No. Cancel, please.
Being in the know is a good thing. That's why Discover will alert you if your social security number is found on any one of thousands of risky sites.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blizzard Arena. We got a lot of happy LA Valiant fans here in the venue. A big victory after a rough start in the first half. We got Crumbs, we've got Sideshow, and fellas, we got to talk about how we got here, because coming in to the halftime, it was 0-1. We saw a draw on Blizzard World, and then of course we saw London Spitfire take Horizon Lunar Colony. So coming into the second half, we knew we wanted to see Agilities and Fate step it up for this Valiant squad. And Crumbs, that's exactly what we got out of our
Oh, baby, we started this one with a bang. This was ridiculous. His first opening kills are on a Zenyatta and a Mercy, and you know how important it is to cap the first point in control. So opening the map up like this, it doesn't just send a message, it almost instantly wins you the game. And then to ice on the cake, he goes to the Doomfist at the end. Agility seems to deliver on control maps more than any other player, and I feel like for some reason people still don't give him the benefit of the doubt. You gotta treat him like a very serious threat and focus him in the air.
And great play from the LA Valiant when they went to Control Center in terms of utilizing their ultimates and getting the most out of Agilities on that Pharah. For the London Spitfire, this comp can play into a Pharah perfectly fine, but they wasted ultimates, they weren't fast enough at killing the players on the ground, they didn't get the value out of it. And then here again, London have been winning the entire time with their defenses and their offensive 3-3 strats. And at the moment, on Dorado, they just couldn't hold back Custer.
The Australian!
He was just too good. No, but just in general, LA Valiant just cruised through this. I don't even understand what they were trying to do with the Lucio at the end of the game. London kind of seemed unprepared for Dorado.
Well, I actually think that London, what they were doing with this triple tank, triple support composition is that this is a very straightforward comp to run. You stay within the boundaries of your Lucio. If you're struggling with communication, with making sure that you behave as a team, you play this composition. Everyone has to be together.
This was the play, Crumbs.
Oh, yeah. Look at what he does, because the best divas always, they lob their bombs and just use the walls to buy time so that you can't anticipate when it's going to explode. That's what makes these bombs so beautiful.
I think the whole of London thought that was going in the balcony window as well, and then it just drops down straight onto them. Unlucky.
Did not expect it. Space has been on point since Blizzard World. Despite the draw, he was eating grabs way back in game number 1. And you saw, of course, how he closed out our final game. The Valiant now improved to 7-0 here in Stage 4. But more importantly, guys, they are going to the season playoffs. They're officially locked in. They are one match away from taking the Pacific title, which would guarantee a top 4 finish there. For now, though, we got to wrap up this match with our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. And today, there was no one better on the stage than Space.
Yes, Space has been so damn good for this team ever since his arrival. Remember, it all started with Fate and Envy being separated and us wondering what happened to this great duo. Well, turns out Space is significantly even better. This guy, his game awareness, specifically eating bird rings, Gravitons, utilizing his self-destruct on D.Va, earns him player of the match today, and I hope he does it more because he is often undervalued when the outsiders look into the LA Valiant.
Yeah, people talk about Custer being added to the team, and then this team went on a huge win streak. Well, Space was added as well, guys.
Same time.
Yeah, exactly the same time. They retooled the roster. The LA Valiant has done a great job at peaking towards the end of the playoffs. Absolute credit to the coaching staff and the staff behind the LA Valiant. If there was ever a time to look like a really good team, it would be at the end of Stage 4 when you're going into the playoffs.
Well, now that you've already beaten New York, you actually have a good shot of going 10-0 just like Boston. So another record possibly.
And then they go downhill like Boston afterwards.
Hey, you know what, Josh? It's all about where you finish at the end of the season. And if you finish second where they're at currently, you get a $200,000 performance bonus. So every match still matters for the Valiant. But things are looking great as they head towards the playoffs. For now, our first match is done. But when we come back, we got the best team in the world, the New York Excelsior, taking on another hometown favorite as the Gladiators look to lock up their spot in the playoffs. We'll be right back. Don't miss the first ever Overwatch League playoffs live in Los Angeles at Blizzard Arena. Tickets are on sale now at access.com.
Discover card.
Hey, I'm curious about your social security alerts.
Oh, just sign up online and we'll alert you if we find your social security number on any one of thousands of Ruski sites.
That sounds super helpful. How much is it?
Well, if you have a Discover card, it's free.
No way.
Yes way. We just think it's important for you to be in the know.
All right.
Hey. Ooh. Everything okay?
Being in the know is very good.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, don't shake, don't shake. Ah!
Know if your social security number is found on risky sites. Free from Discover.
Edged out the victory over the London Spitfire 2-1. The Valiant with a second half comeback, and with that, they've locked themselves a spot in the playoffs. And we'll see them again at the end of this week when they face off against the Houston Outlaws on Saturday. But up next, we got the other hometown team in the building. The LA Gladiators are getting ready to take on the New York Excelsior. And this is going to be another good match. Now, for the Gladiators, this is a very important match because if they lose, the LA Valiant will have officially clinched the Pacific Division. So they need to win this match in order to stay in that running. Also, both of these teams are sitting at 5-1 so far on the stage. So this is a stage playoff implications on this match for sure. The last time these two teams faced off, though, New York Excelsior, they won 3-2 in overtime. And the Gladiators have never beat NY. They haven't done it yet. But New York did lose to the Valiant last week, so anything could pretty much happen. Yo, how many Gladiators fans do we have in the house today? Quite a few. And what about the Excelsior? All right, it's a pretty split, even crowd. But guys, I'm ready to get this match going. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and send things on over to the desk.
Thank you so much, Malik. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. It's time for our second match of the day. It's Thursday here in the Blizzard Arena, and we are stocked full of great games. I'm Puckett. You know these guys. We got Crumbs. We got Sideshow.
The way they phrase that is like, it's Thursday here in the arena. It's Thursday in the rest of the world.
Not in Korea, Josh. Believe it or not, they're ahead of us on Friday.
That is actually true.
Smart guy. I'm not very good at the rest of math and whatnot, but we're pretty good with geometry and geology. Let's get into the game, though. Gladiators, they're trying to stay in the playoff run. They've got a lot of pressure on their shoulders today, and if you look at the Pacific Division, we know there's a bonus if you finish in first place. If you get first place, you get a bye to the semifinals, but currently that position is locked down by the Valiant. But the Gladiators aren't out of the running necessarily quite yet.
They have to win this game, though. If the LA Gladiators lose right now to New York, this Pacific Division title and that spot in the semifinals will go to the Valiant. So if you're just a fan of LA in general, maybe you want to be cheering on New York here, because that would put Valiant in a great playoff position.
Oh, and because you're losing that Pacific Division title, most likely, Gladiators are stuck in 5th and 6th place, which is right on the cusp of that playoff spot, which means that they must win today. But this is not a match that you'd normally think that is a win, had these not been the circumstances where they have a must win against New York.